Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So how do you usually practice to playing a keyboard?
I usually practice with my teacher in my home.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back again to another content of MTsB podcast. Kita ini cakep. Before we start, we like to introduce ourselves first. My name is Muhammad Syafri Adyansya. You can call me Syafri, and this is my partner.
Hi, I'm GRISELLA and you can call me GRISELLA for short.
Hi GRISELLA, what are you feeling today?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
Pretty good. Okay, today's topic is about how to prevent from stroke. GRISELLA, did you know what is stroke?
Yeah. Stroke is basically a disruption of blood flow to the brain. Can be in the form of blockage or eruption of blood vessel and can cause damage to brain structure. Symptoms vary depending on which brain structure is affected.
That's right. There is so many causes of stroke. Previously, we must also recognize the types of stroke based on the mechanism of occurrence as follows. The number one is ischemic stroke. Ischemic stroke is the most common type of stroke. Ischemic stroke occurs when an artery that supplies oxygen-rich blood to the brain becomes blocked. Often, this is caused by blood clots coming from anywhere. For example, a fatty deposits in an artery can rupture, travel to the brain, and cause blood clots. Sometimes, blood clots originate in the heart due to an irregular heartbeat, which is called atrial fibrillation. Number two is hemorrhagic stroke. Hemorrhagic stroke occurs when a blood vessels in the brain burst and brain hemorrhage occurs. Hemorrhagic stroke is the less common type of stroke, but it causes more serious conditions. Uncontrolled high blood pressure and excessive use of blood thinning medications can lead to hemorrhagic stroke. The last one is transient ischemic attack or TIA. In layman's language, it is known as mini stroke or minor stroke, which in the blood vessels there are a blockage in the brain. And although it doesn't cause a permanent brain damage, minor stroke can cause a stroke symptoms that can last minutes and hours and can be a real threat of stroke later in life.
Well, stroke can happen to anyone, but there are several factors that can make someone more at risk to having stroke. Some diseases that can increase the risk of stroke are: first, diabetes; second, hypertension; high cholesterol; heart disease such as congenital heart disease, heart failure, heart infection, and others. Next, we have blood disorder that can increase blood vessel blockage, such as sickle cell anemia, excess platelet count, and then polycythemia vera or thrombophilia. Next is sleep apnea, heart attack, and the last one we have COVID-19.
In addition, there are certain conditions or behaviors that can increase the risk of having stroke, including smoke, suffering from obesity, using illegal drugs, alcohol addiction, and not physically active or rarely exercise.
In addition to the factors that have been conveyed by SYAFRI, stroke is also triggered by other conditions, such as family history of stroke or high blood pressure, age over 55 years old, female gender, and the last one is hormonal changes due to the use of birth control pills or hormone therapy.
We have to know the cause of each kind of stroke. The number one is the cause of ischemic stroke and transient ischemic attack or TIA. Ischemic stroke and transient ischemic attack or TIA occurs when an artery that supplies oxygen-rich blood to the brain becomes blocked. There are so many medical conditions that can cause ischemic stroke and TIA. The most popular cause of stroke is by the mechanism of atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is a disease which a fatty substance called plaque builds up on the inner walls of the arteries. Plaque can harden and narrow the cavities of the arteries, restricting the blood flow to tissues and organs such as hearts and brains. Plaque in the arteries can burst and crack. Blood platelets adhere to the plaque injury to clump together and form a blood clots. These clots can block arteries partially or completely.
The second is causes a hemorrhagic stroke. Sudden bleeding in the brain can cause a hemorrhagic stroke. The bleeding can cause swelling of the brain and increase pressure within the skull. The swelling and pressure can cause damage to brain cells and surrounding tissues. The example of conditions that can cause hemorrhagic stroke are: first is high blood pressure, second brain aneurysms, and the last one is arteriovenous malformation or AVMs. Blood pressure is the force of blood that pushes against the artery walls when the heart pumps blood. If blood pressure increases and remains high over time, it can damage the body in many ways. And an aneurysm is a balloon-like bulge in an artery that can stretch and burst. While for AVM, it is an inherited disorders that make imperfectly arteries and veins vulnerable to rupture in the blood and can cause stroke.
We have to be more vigilant because every year there are over 13.7 million new cases of stroke and 5.5 million of death cases due to stroke. The number of the stroke sufferers is most common in mid and low income countries.
Yeah, moreover, this disease can also attack who are younger, for example, teenagers.
How is that possible?
Well, stroke in adolescence is caused by various factors. Here are some factors that can cause stroke at a young age. First is inherited diseases, and the second is an unhealthy lifestyle such as smoking, lazy to move, like to consume sugary drinks, and playing cell phone before going to bed, and many more.
It's not uncommon for teens to have a stroke. Teenagers may not complain about the disease or symptoms of stroke. Seek immediate medical attention if you or your teens experience symptoms of a stroke.
Preventing stroke is an important step that can be done early on. Don't be too late to realize something like this. Anyway, SYAFRI, you know what about stroke?
Of course, so that I can take care of my health, especially I'm at a young age.
You're right. So, to all my dear friends, please take care of your health. This is regardless of age. Whether you are old or young, you can still catch various diseases. So, thanks to SYAFRI to provide education about stroke. And for the audience, thank you so much for watching this podcast. I hope you got the point. See you next time, and the last we say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.